Hello, my name is John, and I'll be reviewing SimCity 64 for the Nintendo 64 disk drive, also known as the 64DD. SimCity 64 was only available on the Nintendo 64DD. It was one of 9 games released on the system, so it makes it a very rare game today. It was actually developed by Hal Laboratory, which is better known for games like the Super Smash Bros. Series as well as Kirby series for Nintendo. I'm going to attempt to make a city or start one. It is very hard because I do not speak a lick of Japanese. But look, we have a very familiar face to help me through this process. It is Dr. Wright. You might remember him from SimCity, released for the Super Nintendo in 1991. In fact, Dr. Wright is actually based off the creator of SimCity, Will Wright, and his appearance is actually supposed to look like Will Wright, although I don't think Will Wright necessarily has the green hair per se. Once I pick the name of the city, which probably makes very little sense in Japanese, I'm going to pick out my terrain where I want to actually start the city. We'll start it at number 2. Sounds good enough to me. And here's Dr. Wright. He's kind of pissed for some reason. I'm not sure. Maybe I named the city wrong. I really don't know what I did. This is a yes/no option. Sure, we'll decide that. And let's get going on this game. You notice there is some loading time in this. This is a disk system, so there is some load time, but it's not too bad overall. As you can see, the graphics are very similar to SimCity 2000, but don't get this confused with the actual SimCity 2000 game because there are some significant differences. In fact, in 1998, SimCity 2000 was released for the regular Nintendo 64, but that was a completely different company that developed that. That was not Hal Laboratory. By pushing the yellow buttons on the Nintendo 64 controller, I actually can change the angles of my city. In fact, I can go street level and walk around in the streets and actually talk to the citizens of my city and kind of get some feedback as well, which is an exclusive part of SimCity 64. This is a really cool feature. I think Nintendo did a fantastic job adding this to the SimCity series. Here's the street level. Let's walk around, and as you can see, that guy's got something about universities, and you can get their feedback. Sometimes they'll see a smiley face, meaning they're happy, and sometimes you'll see a frowny face. That means that they're really upset about how the city's being ran. At the top right corner of the screen, you'll see I have $40,000 in cash to currently play with. I can raise my taxes, although if I raise my taxes, if too much, the residents tend to get very angry. They can move out and revolt, and if I lower my taxes too low, I'll get more people moving in the city. However, I won't get as much money. So you have to find that nice fine line between the supply and demand of taxes and make sure that it's a very balanced fit. So there's some strategy involved. To the right of that, you'll see an RCI chart. That stands for residential, commercial, and industrial. My goal is to really make sure that that chart is balanced. If I open up my menu here, I can have different options of building different residential, commercial, industrial blocks. This is cost per block. I can build them individually and just tap the button and it will build, although I can also build as a spread. So if you hold down the button, you can actually spread it out and cover a lot more ground that way, and I'll show you how much total cost. You got to make sure that each area is getting electricity. If they're touching next to another building with electricity, it will automatically get it. You can build power lines between streets as well to make sure they're connected. I can also speed up how many years my city goes by as well, so this will be a faster time frame. As I mentioned before, this game is based on SimCity 2000, which was released 6 years before in 1994 by Maxis, and that was actually initially released on the Apple Macintosh operating system, but was ported to a PC as well as Super Nintendo, the Amiga, a whole bunch of other classic computers and home consoles. Speaking of Maxis, the creator of the Sim games, they became very popular making the SimCity series. They also made SimAnt, SimEarth, a whole bunch of different Sim games, and on July 28, 1997, Electronic Arts actually purchased and acquired Maxis. It was a very slow acquisition, even though they purchased it outright. They didn't really take over the name right away. In fact, as the beginning of this game, you actually see Maxis, and you'll see Electronic Arts at the very bottom. So they actually used the Maxis name for quite a while. In fact, Maxis is best known for the Sim series that was started in 2000. Even today, the Sim series is very, very popular among gamers. Interesting enough, Maxis had nothing to do with this port of SimCity. In fact, as I mentioned before in the video, this was developed by HAL Laboratory, And how Hal came up with the name Hal Laboratory was actually from the 2001 Space Odyssey, the HAL 9000 computer. I guess they were big fans of that movie and decided to name it HAL Laboratories based on that movie. This is probably one of the rarer versions of SimCity that you will find. The one reason being is because the Nintendo 64DD did not sell very well at all. It was only released in Japan. They only sold about 15,000 systems. It was only available through mail order through the RandNet company, and only 9 games were released for the system, this being one of them. So having that all into place, it makes this game very rare today. This is supposed to be the official sequel to the first SimCity game for the Super Nintendo, released in 1991. And this, even though this game didn't sell very well, it is definitely an interesting part of the SimCity series. Not only can you add items, you actually change the terrain. You can lower the terrain, you can add water, you can add mountains, you can level the terrain to build more items for the city. There is a ton of things you can do to customize how you want to build your city layout. As I fly over the city, I can kind of see what I need. Sometimes the polls will tell me I need more fire stations. Crime might be high. I can add some police stations as well, hospitals, train stations. There's a plethora of items you can actually add to the city, and you can change the angle as well, get a bird's eye view as well, which is a really neat feature of this game. We'll open up my item here. You can police stations, fire station, hospitals. It's 500 for a hospital. Change my mind. I'm going to open a police station. Again, it's only $500 for a police station. Let's see where I should put it. I've got to make sure that the ground is level, and it's blinking because at this point I don't have any electricity, so I need to add some electricity to it. And as your city gets bigger, you're going to have to add more power plants and supply more power. There will be natural disasters that will occur in your city, so you have to be prepared for that as well. Add some road track. It's $10 per space. I'm running into a mountain. That's going to be kind of tricky. This is one aspect of the game that is kind of hard to know how to add roads. Unfortunately, that's going to connect right. That's a road to nowhere. I'll just make the road. I'll connect the road that way. It's a crazy intersection right there, but we'll extend it out. Run it right into a train track, it looks like. Now, when I started the city, there was already stuff here. You can start the option of opening a city without nothing. You can actually start from scratch as well, which is a lot of fun. I'm going to scope out the city and check it out ground level, as I showed you a little briefly earlier. Let's see what's going on in the streets. Let's talk to some people. Education. He's telling me about something about education, maybe schooling. Some kind of robot in the city. Not sure what he's doing in the street. That's kind of odd. He seems pretty content. But this is a really cool feature of SimCity. I really like the fact that you can wander around. There's a gas station. And it's really neat that you can interact with your fellow citizens, because before there was just polling and all that good stuff. But here you can actually talk to them one-on-one and get some feedback. Overall, this is a really fun game. I really enjoy the SimCity series. I've grown up playing it on the PC, playing it on the Super Nintendo. It's great to see that Nintendo had quite an official sequel to the Super Nintendo version, brought back Dr. Wright. This is overall a really good game, great graphics and sound. I really enjoy this game, although it's unfortunate that it's only in Japanese. It'd be much easier if I could read the text, but nevertheless, having played SimCity and other formats, I can get by with this game. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. We'll see you soon. Take care.